This is the ultimate example of why not just make two videos and just shoehorn how they're related. So I'm going to do a video about Gabriel Piemonte, and he was in Twitterverse, like the reparationist Twitterverse for a while, and I don't think he got a fair shake from ADOS. But I'm also the issues with him to me are they're it's normal stuff. Like it or not, it's politics. Close the door. And maybe some things I don't like, but I will say one thing I always liked about Gabriel, and I think that people should respect that this is going to be endearing. Oh yeah, I still have this desk with the buckle. So this is some things change, and this video is a little different. Some things remain the same. I would consider Gabriel to be maybe the closest person to me when it comes to why he's in favor of not just reparations, because lots of people are cool with reparations, but I'm talking about for descendants of slavery in America. Like one reason that I am okay with him, where I'm more wary about Sambo, even though he's Italian, is I often ask this: why are you in favor of reparations? Gabriel's reason is closest to mine out of anybody I've heard. Maybe that I can remember, but I'm pretty sure I've never heard anyone who was closer to where I am. And his experience that he gives on Reset Race, it's very familiar. But it's also familiar in his approach and his philosophy around it. And this also goes into why I do have a problem with lowercase b black first. And I even have a problem with uppercase b black. Just having the ethnicity of someone who descends from American slavery, yeah, there's plenty of people who are messed up with that. But I would think first and foremost, that's who you intersect with for different reasons. But on the way to intersecting with them, I'm not going to deny that this Italian dude's rationale for why he is in favor of reparations. And this is one of the things that I often kind of grill, not often enough, but I always want to ask the sort of gatekeeper / Pan-Africanist types, why are you in favor of reparations? Because if you're part of that crowd it has to be race-based, and maybe you sound like that guy who I did a video on at that Pan-African conference that they invited Yvette Carnell to, and it said, no, don't come. And I'm glad she didn't go, because it ended up being some raccoonery. And some of the raccoonery was this Pan-African dude who said that reparations should go to black people's nations. And I'm like, oh man, dude, you just gonna give it to lowercase b black's nation? So you give it to just who in lowercase b black? So reparations for slavery in America should go to pick whoever. The guy, Molly dude, what's his name that everybody likes? I forget. Pick whoever. It could be somebody I like. It could have been Gaddafi when he was, I forgot what he was offering Farrakhan, but it could have been anybody, like, no matter the nation. But that's just what I mean. If you're in that crowd where you're just insane, I want to know why would anyone, like, it really doesn't typically get that bad, but why are you in favor of reparations if you're just going to throw it to some reparations for this slavery and economic apartheid in the USA? I'm not talking about for colonialism. This guy, so why are you in favor of it if you just want to give money or some form of repair, I don't know what, to something as nonsensical, because we don't even have, like, there'll never be a scientific definition for black as a race. You can, you can define it as an ethnicity, but there's never going to be like a black people's nation. You got plenty of people in nations that I mean, to finish my sentence, I don't even have to. You know what I'm getting at. There's a lot of people that don't go by black. They don't go by their race. Because who created this? Like, this is just something they might not identify with. And you see this all over Africa. All over places where people are lowercase b black. So, whatever. And that's what I mean. I'm just getting at that because I'm going to play that video of Piemonte. If I'm saying his last name right. I'm going to extend the olive branch because I know Yvette Carnell was giving him hell. And you'll see why. And I'll add some commentary to that. Let's get to Angela Hill. Let's get to this UFC review. Test. Okay. So, what you're seeing is, this is the end of the first period. And the highlight is going to my opponent. I don't remember what the name of this fighter that they used. Maybe I'll see it in a minute. But I decided, okay, I want to record this because this looks like it's going to be a good fight. I'm losing, as you can see, I got caught with an elbow. No, it was a knee. I tried to come in, I probably threw something from far away and then went to the body like a Superman punch to the head, and then I'm going to the body, and then I run into looks like an elbow or a knee. Let's see what it is. Oh yeah, it was a knee. To back it up. Let me back it up further. So yeah. I think I lost that round, but it was close. So I'm thinking, whatever, Now, quick backstory with me in this game. I played the first UFC 1. Let me just jump in. I played UFC 1. I got really good at the last one using Angela Hill. I used her with either 3 or 4, I don't remember. But at first I was apprehensive about using her because to me she wasn't that good. And I wasn't that good, so I needed to use somebody better. And then I started getting better, and I tried everybody. And I'm like, let me at least try. I didn't know nothing about her. I'm like, let me at least try the one black chick. Like, there was probably Adolph's too with a name like Angela Hill. Let me at least try her. She was one of the last people I tried. And the thing I really like about using her is she has a jumping elbow. Like, everything else that she has is pretty basic. They did add a roundhouse kick to her, which at this point I'm really starting to learn how to use. Which she probably should add, because her style is basically like karate chick, movie chick, and that's what she was. She got into UFC through, I think, cosplay. So, and as you can see, like, just capturing her leg muscles, she's an athlete. So that's pretty much it. I'm not as good at 6. I think 6, if I'm rating it, I don't think it's quite what 5 was, but it's early. A good patch could do it some good. And I might jump in and talk about some of the things that I think are problematic. But this game went well. This fight, I should say. This fight in this game. And it does, I am going to shoehorn some parallels to the previous topic. But for now, let's get it in. So Rodriguez, I don't remember her first name. Now, as you can see, what I'm trying to do is make her miss the first strike in a combination. It takes some steam out of her. You can't take as many straight up blows in this game. I think maybe the chins are a little weak. So if I was patching something, I think you can maybe add a little more durability here and there. Chin, body, and shins with leg kicks. Especially when it comes to regular straight punches. But as you can see, this game has just incredible fluidity and crispness. So we're going to go back, and you're going to see I'm losing at first, but I win with two good counters, where I just move out the way, slip, and counter. That's landing. Lean back, counter, didn't get it cold. That one was straight. Making her miss. Got to make people miss to take the steam out. Partial blocks. And for now they show you this business on the top. Before they didn't necessarily show you this when you play online, but they show you like your durability. And seeing my durability, we'll see. We'll continue, because this is gonna be kind of hard to edit in anyway. So we'll pause it there. But just seeing my durability, being able to see all of that stuff, like how much you can take to the head, to your body, it gives you a better idea of like what the fan should request to this game. But hey. That one was hard. So I'm getting beat up to the head. Block to the body. Okay, partial blocks. Partial blocks. I can work with that. Got one to the head. I can take some to the body. That's okay. I just got to protect the head. Blocks and slips. It's crazy the people you hear in the background. Ooh. That surprised me. Now on the ground, I'm just going to try to tire her out. That was good use of close state, when you think about it. Because, I pretty much could do nothing but go on the defensive end. But I only let one good shot get in, and it was a straight punch. So it wasn't like I got beat up. You're going to see the worst thing that happened. Oh. And that, because it was a counter and I was extended, that hurt. It won't always hurt, though. You know, if you got the right stamina, you can take that. You can maybe, they assume you're bracing with it better. Because I got hit with the same thing and it didn't hurt another time. Block, slip. I got hit. Tough little uppercut. Now, when I go in flow state, I think this might be the first time I didn't go in the first round. What I'm trying to do is make her miss. Tire her out. And then I land that elbow to the head. But she recovers. Can't get greedy. I'm starting to download her, and she's getting frustrated. That when you're hot dogging like that, that's frustration. So, hey. That surprised me. But if you go back, we're going to play it back. She got frustrated, and I started to think back. You know, I have that roundhouse kick. So I'm going to go back. Ooh. That was lethal. That was one of the damnedest things I've ever seen. Okay, so let's segue into Gabriel Piemonte. And let me take my shoehorn out, because now we're going to talk about a totally different subject. So why does this Italian dude that I was telling you about, why are am I more in a like mind when it comes to why I want reparations?
And I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's like you're willing to sacrifice your own success rather than have Black Americans succeed. It's not even like I don't want this group of people to get this something. It's like I'll even sacrifice a little bit of mine to prevent these people from getting something. And you've got to really reflect on that. So the challenge, in a sense, I think you're right, Mud, that it's like, are people going to have a transformational moment where they see the light and whatever? In one way, it's hard to envision that. On the other hand, this is a pathology. So to get to the point where you recognize not just that reparations make sense, but to reflect on why you fought so hard against them, why it made you angry when somebody said, well, this is actually, I can show you the documentation where this money is owed. We can show you several examples of how we pay this money back. And you're getting red in the face, fighting people you don't even know about how, my Irish ancestors were slaves and woo 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 and whatever other excuse you come up with. You have a sickness. And so then the next question is, do you want to get well?
Mm.
Do you want to get well?
That's good.
He's going to answer it right here.
And
That's so good.
Yeah, she can
I
relate
think
to
that's
this
the thing.
because a lot of the people, and I'm going to give 2 examples, a lot of the people that we talk to, racism is revealed when you bring up reparations. And 2 examples, real quick, because there really isn't that much to this, and I don't want to go on longer than he's speaking. I want to just let it be. But 2 quick examples. This was in YouTube comments. This person was arguing against reparations because, according to them, reparations only goes to people who have had human rights violations happen to them. It never goes to descendants. So I'm like, well, with downwinders and Japanese Americans and Native Americans and Guam, and I can go into wildlife bills, how this didn't happen to animals at the time. This is like the next generation. When it's other people, places, and things, even when it's capitalism, we repair the effects that last more than, with Native Americans, we're talking like maybe 50, 80 generations almost. I mean, you got to go back pretty far. Maybe not that many, but I would say at tops, you're getting close to 50. I would think, yeah. But anyhow, and you give them the information, and instead of, oh, thank you for correcting me, they get mad. Now, if that to me is like, yeah, it's kind of like you're dealing with a sickness. And the question is, do you want to get better? Like, do you care? Because at that point, I'm like, well, have you ever considered that you might be racist? Because you have a totally different standard. Um, and it was a more detailed argument, but that's the thing. Like, I don't blame ignorance when you tell people the truth about a matter, and it gets worse. And that's what I mean. You're dealing with people who are sick because it doesn't really help them. Another example, more recent, is this is a person who on X who said that problems for Black Americans are related to reading proficiency. We have I forget, I said like some amount of Black American students are like 37% are not proficient readers for the grade level. I'm like, to make a long story short, I'm making the case that incalculable human rights violations can't be fixed by being able to read at a 11th grade level when you're reading at a 10th grade level and you're a senior in high school. You're 2 grade levels below. Those 2 differences in grade level isn't going to make up for incalculable human rights violations. So I'm making that case. Pretty simple. And then their whole thing was, well, how come Asians were treated bad? So I'm like, well, most Asians descend from populations that are after the civil rights movement. So they weren't really like, we did the work so they wouldn't be treated badly. The ones who were treated worse got reparations. Another person chimed in and their response at first was, oh, they got reparations. Trust me, bro. Japanese got, like we were lying to them. So not only did I show that they got reparations, I showed that their children, their descendants, their heirs, survivors, whatever, they got reparations too. So, man, That's that's where we're at. You show them that, and they get mad. But then it got worse because they went back to the whole reading thing, and then they started doing the whole thing where I think they were saying they were Chippewa, and so I go into like these are the costs to some of the human rights violations. This is the wealth gap, and like this isn't something, and I showed like what we did wrong about closing the racial wealth gap, and the whole thing about how Black Americans, on average, who have higher income, still have less wealth than their white counterparts at every income level. And I don't mean like the lowest versus high. I'm talking about high versus high. Like if you break it up into fifths, and then I showed that Black Americans at every education level has less wealth. And the only exception is like a postgraduate versus a high school dropout. But two people with a bachelor's, two people with an AA, two people with a diploma, the difference in wealth is much larger. So you basically to have more wealth on average, people buck the trends, but on average to have more wealth as a black man, Black American, this isn't disaggregated because we all know we could be talking about acumen immigrants, we could be talking about people who come here uh, as refugees. So they went back to the whole reading thing, and I showed like reading has improved. What are you talking about? Like we've gone from in the 20s where only I think 30% of Black Americans can read. Now it's like 90%, and actually it's closer to 97% of adults. So then what they did was talk about having a sickness. Was they showed me a bunch of stats about the whole proficiency thing again, and then blocked me because they knew that I would correct them and say, well, there's a difference between being able to read and being proficient. But even worse than that, the other person was like, well, they were getting them before they blocked me on the fact that you were saying you're Chippewa. Well, um, what is their literacy? And I looked it up. Black Americans have a higher literacy than Chippewa. So this is a person who had probably doesn't have an ounce of Chippewa in them, but this is a sickness. They had turned themselves into like some fake Chippewa, a group that doesn't read as well as Black Americans, at least in terms of being able to read. I don't know. Proficiency, who knows? The ones that can read might be, college level readers. I doubt it, but I'm saying there's nothing on that. But 1 in 7, from what I looked at, of whatever tribe, I think it was Chippewas, it might have been something else, but regardless, I don't think this person was actually that. But they were just sickness level racists. And sickness level racists, there's nothing you could do but almost wait them out. They're too far gone. But fortunately, based on polls, I think they're only about 30%, which is high as hell when you think about it. But that's where I'm at. I think they're like 30, a third of the population at the most.
I think that's the thing that could cause the transformation. It's like, my brother, you're sick, and we're trying to help you. This isn't about whether or not we're writing this check. It's going to get written. It's like, if nothing else, we'll just wait for enough white people to die.
This is something I had to pause it on.
The question is,
how different does he sound compared to Pan-Africanists when their jaws get slack? They start to frown. Reparations is never going to happen. And I'm like, I don't know, have you seen recent polls? Everybody starts to look like Brother Reggie. It almost like after he finished masturbating. Like they look compromised. Like they got caught masturbating or something. They they start to sound like, and let me take out my shoehorn, they start to sound like I could have felt when I got cracked in the face with that knee, or when I got kicked in the body using Angela Hill. But Gabriel was like, it's gonna happen. Fuck what you talking about. It's gonna happen. Yeah, maybe we gotta wait till you die, because I like the younger generation. You gotta die. I'm not gonna kill you. You know, I got wife and kids. You know, I gotta feed, and I'm not going to prison. This ain't a threat. You know, that's just how life works. We live, we die. You gotta die. And after you die, then that check's gonna get cut. But that mentality is not where I identify with him the most. It's what he says after that.
It happen. The question is, do you want to be healthy in your mind, body, and spirit in your lifetime and hand down to your children a legacy of working with other people in a positive way, or do you want to hand down
And
hate?
this goes back to the person I was talking to in the
Left Wing
YouTube
Watch is going to
comments.
quote
I
that and say
started
you're
saying, I'm like,
promoting white
hey,
genocide, Gabriel.
I
So they're
didn't
going to
say
Bring it on.
that I didn't make it
Fight
personal,
demographic change.
but I did the math when it came to reparations in California. And if you remember, yeah, this was ditched by Democrats, and for whatever reason, that's not the point. The point was this guy had a standard where reparations would only go to people who are directly harmed, right? Now, the problem with that is if I am someone who inherits this first generation, we'll just say first generation for now, and I'm continuing to experience human rights violations while trying to get justice from the previous, and they say, no, they died, too late. I'm like, well, not all, there's some that are alive right now. They're like, yeah, but some of them died, so it wouldn't be fair. Whatever excuse they come up with. But I'm still experiencing it. Now, fast forward to now, we're only um, maybe 2 generations away from, when I talk about 2 generations, I'm just talking about like average time in which somebody has a kid, 25 years, 30 years, 25 to 30 years or so. We're about a generation and a half. You know, from about two and a half, about two and a half from, hey, we're just a racist country, to the point where it's like, well, how can we know they're going to say no. And when I say they're going to say no, I'm talking there's no political alliance at all. And this goes back to how Reconstruction was betrayed and the pivot of the Democratic Party that gained the black vote, but it gained it in a way that was long-term problematic. But that's sort of beside the point. Where I really identify is when I did that math, I told the person, I'm like, if we're just going by people who are alive to experience it, the math for my dad, having lived in California for almost all of his life, and he's still alive now. Happy Father's Day to him. The math for my dad is, I think he was owed like 900K. Plus. I was like, not, I think like 920. It wasn't on the down there, but it was, and this, he's alive. the math for me, and I moved, like, but for about 27 years living there, and this is after, well, this was actually during when it was the gang capital of the world. But the math for me, um, I think it was only like 60, and then one of my sons, it was like 5 for my oldest son, 5 grand. So let's say America isn't racist. It's like, oh, okay. Hot damn, that's how much it is. Yeah, hey, Biden, you're in office right now. Kick us down so we can afford this. Okay, California. Hey, you weren't denied entry at all to Oregon. Let's see, what can you analyze? The lack of wealth gained because you were completely barred from the state. Oh, and since you did that, you have to do reparations for everybody, Oregon. It won't be as much, but hey, we're not racist. We'll help you pay for it. Well, we have a God budget's like almost $8 trillion, 7.2 trillion, or is it? I don't remember what our last budget is, but easily affordable if you're gonna run budgets like that. If you cut the budget in half, it goes from easily affordable to just affordable. And I know because I played democracy. I've ran the budgets. Video game that'll let you do that stuff if you really want to feel what it's like to do it and who gets pinched if you move money around like that. So easily affordable. Maybe not if every state runs it, but then at that point you just do national and it's still easily affordable. So my thing was I'm telling this guy, I'm like, hey, by your standard, it's a lot of money too. I mean, just going by me, and I didn't even make it this personal. I'm just saying, I ran the numbers in California, and it's arguably, if you just go by like the stuff that's happened in the last 75 years, then it might be cheaper than what ADOS is talking about with the 20 trillion. Because I ran the numbers, and I honestly, I don't know. Because if every state did that, then yeah, you start talking about every state doing what California did, it probably is more. Especially if you do it right now while a lot of these people are alive. But we're going to these states, state by state, and this is what I think is best about state level reparations. It's not even whether or not you get it. It's showing that it's specific for people who descend from slavery. And there might be some exceptions, but you can build off that. We can work with people. But you want that specificity, and kind of outline, well, these other people redlined, we can build off those exceptions. But you want that specificity all over the country. So it can be clear that's what's owed right now, while all of these people who are alive deep into Jim Crow are alive right now. That's what's owed. Capiche? Comprende? So again, I want to say happy Father's Day to my pops. And I also want to finish the thought. My point, and this really isn't much of a shoehorn, is in a sense, this is for you. Do you want to hand down a country that just said, hey, you asked for reparations after slavery and we rolled our necks at you and said that we're racist, enjoy these other human rights violations, nigger? Or do you want the nation, since it's more, even by your standard, where it has to only go to people who experience this directly, do you want Do you want to do it that way and then just completely ignore slavery when you can kind of just do the whole feel good thing and get slavery out of the way too for a more affordable price than if you itemize everything, even after slavery was over, even in the lifetime of people who are alive today. So that's my thing. It's like, what nation do you want to live in? The nation that said, hey, we addressed this, and this is how we did it. And they did so in a way that ended the racial caste. Otherwise, what's the point of addressing it? That's wise government. That's what, if you weren't a sick individual who needs help, do you want to get better? See, it's not really, when I get to that point, it's not a shoe line. It's something that I wish I heard from more Pan-Africanists. I do think there is some spirit with it. Where some Pan-Africanists kind of have that. I think they're rightfully cynical in some ways. But my thing is, I kind of like messing with them because with that guy, it's like, wait a second. For a bargain, by your method, with a bargain, using my method, which is reparations cover everything, you get a bargain and you cover slavery. And that's what you pass down, because you're going to die. That's what you pass down to the next generation. Or you can pass down hate and, unfortunately, some of the idiocy that comes with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Honors called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 48 seconds of round number 3. Declaring the winner by knockout, Angela Overkill Hill.